It's like watching Winnie the Pooh get stuck in the honey and trying to pull himself out without Piglet standing on the bank to give him a hand. It's slow because, that's the way we do things in Britain. We explore every cul-de-sac there is before actually choosing to act.
Now, there is mounting frustration at the pace and cost of a government rewilding project. The UK government last year announced that it will allow licensed reintroductions of beavers into the wild. But since then, only 2 sets have been released. Well, Derek Gow is a farmer and conservationist and an expert in rewilding and species reintroduction and joins us now. Derek, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Derek, why has it been so slow?
Well, that's a very good question. It's like watching Winnie the Pooh get stuck in the honey and trying to pull himself out without Piglet standing on the bank to give him a hand. It's slow because, that's the way we do things in Britain. We explore every cul-de-sac there is before actually choosing to act. So government plays a large part in that. Some of the nature conservationists that, you would think would be open-armed with regard to beavers have also been slow to get their act in order. And the net end result is, as we spiral ever nearer towards, it's kind of like climatic extinction, a scenario, then basically one of the animals that could save us and save very many of the species that depend on the landscapes it creates from extinction, we just pursue in a way that's languid, to say the least.
I suppose, Derek, we should have started with why is this so important? You just gave us a hint there of how actually a lot of the future of other species are dependent on these rewilding projects. Tell us why beavers in particular are so important to the ecosystem.
Of course. So beavers are basically nature's water gardener. They're the animal that was put on this earth to hold water. When you hold water on the surface of the soil, all life revolves around it. I mean, wetlands are the richest living environment there is on the planet. So what beavers do by famously impounding smaller watercourses to create the pools they desire is provide living conditions for ducks and for frogs and for newts and for water beetles, for the great animals, to come down to the edge to drink, for all sorts of creatures that otherwise wouldn't be able to prosper if there were no beavers. So restoring the beaver is the first thing you do if you want to recover nature, and that knowledge has been clearly gained worldwide after the species extermination by the beginning of the 20th century.
Now, Derek, you spoke to us about, I suppose, the red tape and bureaucracy is holding everything back, but I can imagine that there's also a cost to this delay. So how much is all this delay costing us?
Well, there's obviously a cost if you're going to look at reintroducing something like beavers, but at the end of the day, the costs of not doing it are much greater. So, when you see headline after headline following themselves in the news about flooding here, flooding there, the reason why we are experiencing these significant flood events, climate change aside, is because we have so successfully drained the landscape to farm it that by the time we finish, we've taken out all the sponges, all the wetlands full of sphagnum moss, everything that can delay and hold water before it hits the settlements, we have destroyed. And the cost of cleaning up, single villages, single settlements, once you've had a disastrous flood event, runs into billions. If you look at some European states like Bavaria, the cost of managing beavers there, professional people who adjust their presence when you don't require them to be there or move them to other sites, costs somewhere in the region of under £1 million. And of course, there's always a cost to everything, to both action and inaction, and we know how to manage the beavers, and from a cost efficiency point of view, it's a very sensible thing to restore them to help us manage water.